Assalamu alaikum. My name is Salim Siddiqui, and we're continuing the story talking about the question. What was the question? And it's important so that we remember. Today is the great celebration Eid. Well, not actually today. It's taken me a few days or so to get to the end of this story, and it's important that you understand that because we're going to get into some really dramatic detail here. We said that it is the great Eid celebration, or the great Muslim festival, where Muslims all over the world have gathered together with their families to bow their head to the Lord Most High, celebrating and praising the Lord, Allah, the God who created all of us, you, me, and all of the sons of Adam. And Muslims are facing towards the Kaaba, the holy house in Mecca that Abraham and Ishmael built to remember the worship of the Lord Most High on this earth, and that believers in the Lord Most High, or the light as we describe the Lord, as no description or image or icon or symbol can depict him, bearers of the light are there circling the house of the Lord in counterclockwise fashion. And we said that we're trying to understand the importance of the relevance of this event, that here on earth, a holy house was built by Abraham in the story, who said, "My Lord is the one who gives life and takes life." And since then we have been maintaining the fundamentals that there's only one God. He is greater and higher than everything that we see here. And he is the one who created the universe and all that is in it. He created the angels made of light. They have free will. They do not have free will, excuse me. Angels do not have free will. They obey the commandments of their Lord and do not disobey, but there are other races or jinns or aliens that have been created prior to mankind, and they do have free will. They're made of smokeless fire, and we've continued to go through the story talking about Adam being created by the Lord and breathed of the light of a soul, and God taught Adam the names of all things. And Adam taught his sons the story that we are now telling you, that there will be prophets in succession, bringing the word of the Lord Most High. And we've continued to tell the tale that all of the sons of Adam live and die and are raised on the day of judgment. Judgment is there for them, punishment, reward, heaven and hell, and that there is a final fundamental that all the bearers of the light knew, and that is that the Lord Most High is not a distant God or a non-existent God or a person who turns a switch and leaves. No, he is the creator, the Lord Most High, knowing and all-seeing, and the one who has planned and destined everything in the universe. Now, because that is true, we must start to understand that truth at a higher level. Well, we're saying that everything that the Lord created follows his command, of course. But of those that he created are those who are searching for the darkness. We said Satan was one of the leaders of the other races and disobeyed the Lord and began a mission or a war to try and deceive us from the light. And we said always through this story we have maintained that the darkness tries to deceive us from the light, and those in the story who understand the story are always searching for the light, and we've tried to remain certain concepts and principles standard and not get into any strange definitions. We've said the Arabic term Allah means the God, and don't be deceived by many of the deceivers out there who will tell you it means a pagan god, a sun god, a moon god, or any other god. We said God, the Lord Most High, is not depicted by any image or symbol or statue or cross. We said that remembering the story is that we are trying to find the light and seek the light, and we are fighting evil or the darkness, and that Satan has of his kind many followers. And we, of our own sons of Adam, have many people who follow the dark as well. And so it has become a situation where it is a battle of light versus dark, not any country or war or race. And that from the other races there are believers and disbelievers in many tribes and nations, and you can go through the information and look back. And from, of course, the sons of Adam are many tribes and nations of different colors and races and languages. And we're saying that there is a fundamental, that you are now being told the story of the truth from the beginning to the end in a way that you have never heard it before. That as a promise of the Lord, every nation will bear and have revealed to them the story of the truth in the way that it is supposed to be done from the beginning to the end by someone who demonstrates the signs that they are a bearer of the truth. And those signs were what? Understanding the fundamentals that I have described, and some other signs that we are about to get into right now. Since we're getting to the end of the tale, like I said, everything starts to get a little bit stranger, because as I always promised, if I'm telling you the story of the truth, each part must be more dramatic and amazing and unbelievable, yet obviously true and clear, because any storyteller can tell you that if there is some gap or unclarity in the climax of the story, then something was missing in the beginning. But I am saying to you that unlike any other story that has ever been told to you in the English language, that now you are hearing for the first time the whole story of the truth, like it's never been spoken before. And because this is the story of the truth, of the reality of what really is going on in our universe, an intergalactic struggle of epic proportions as a whole race, that the signs that must be clear have to be dramatic, huge, and obvious. Now, we've got to some interesting points in the story, and so, of course, I have to reiterate the caveats that we've talked a lot about the darkness and the other side and the other dimensions and the other races, and I know many of you are interested in this, and it continues to be a problem, and I know that you want to know about the secrets of are we out there or are we alone, and I'm hoping that by listening to this story, all the secrets of the universe that people have been questioning are starting to become clear. If you don't know what I'm talking about, please go back and listen to the beginning of this story until you understand the truth, because we are making a bold claim. That bold claim is that this story, for the first time, the Lord Most High is revealing the truth in the English language to a land that has never heard it before. To a land that has never heard it before. From someone who is a bearer of the light, meaning a Muslim, who understands the truth of the word and the stories in succession, and is from their own people, of their own complexion, speaking their own words, and telling them the tale in the way that they can understand it. And we said that the Lord Most High is most merciful and compassionate and greater and grander than anything we could have described. And when I continue to tell you the rest of the tale, you will understand even more of what the beauty of the Lord is Most High. Now, as I said again, I'm just a humble servant of the Lord, but I am a man, slave to no one, bowing my head to no one, unable to speak the truth, and rejecting that because of no one. All of the sons of Adam should always be willing to accept the truth of the light. And we said that those who seek shall find. But why is it that this really works? I said I am going to have to show certain signs. That is to prove that the story I'm telling you for the first time on the earth is true, that I don't have to make a prediction. I have to do something even crazier. I have to say, because we believe in the final fundamental, that the Lord Most High is the planner and knower of all things, that the story I have just told you in the most dramatic and grand scale must show a sign and be proved that I am telling the truth. And I said something even weirder. I said that I don't have to show you the proof. You have to show me the proof. Now, before we get into this whole description of the proof, and I'm not going to give it to you now, let me just give you this. Daddy, listen to this. It means, what does it mean? It means when someone who knows the truth of the light comes to a people, he doesn't make a prediction to them. He says, I am telling you the story of the truth of the light in the way it is supposed to be done for you by the will of the Lord Most High in your own language, how every single person who understood the truth of the light from our father Adam in this chain has always told it. From the beginning till the end, so that anyone who hears the story once and for all should never doubt it. And then he says, I will prove my story is true in the strangest tale that I have said, that the perfect proof is not with me, but go to your greatest scholars and find your most knowledgeable people in all of your lands and ask them at this very moment, did some truth of any knowledge come to them? And the proof of a person who tells the story of the truth of the light to any nation is that the Lord Most High marks it, that the people of knowledge who are not believers will claim that they have just found great new knowledge, amazing knowledge, knowledge that has never been known to the sons of Adam before. And they are revealing this new knowledge to mankind. And the person who told the story of the truth will say, your greatest knowledge that you have just revealed. Yeah, we already knew that. Sorry, buddy, but yeah, we knew all of that. It has to be proof that the greatest of their scholars in all of their sciences and all of their technology and all of their information have to come up and reveal the most new news or information. And when it is put next to the story of the truth of the light, that story that is told to you should say, yeah, we already knew what you guys just came up with, because we know the story of the truth of the light. And that will be proved to you before this story is done. Daddy, it's so amazing. It's so amazing, Daddy. When you understand the light of Allah and the way that He is the total planner, then everything is so much clearer. And I am just a humble servant. There is nothing great in me. Because we said what? Every person who comes claiming to be a prophet after the final messenger is a false prophet. And anything they tell you might have some truth, but some misguidance. And they will not be able to tell you what? Everything. A person who tells the story of the truth should tell you everything. And the story of the truth should explain why every single other tale of the son of Adam exists. Think of any story that you've ever heard, or any TV show that you ever watched, or any strange X-File or sci-fi channel imagination, and the story that they are telling is now understood by the story of truth that I have revealed to you today in the English language. But there are things that are even more beautiful. Now I am going to tell you, not that you should accept Islam, right? As I said, it is never the job of the person who tells the story to tell you, come, accept Islam. I should just tell you the simple basics. Islam is an Arabic word that means submitting to the story of truth, of what we have been told. A Muslim is a one who submits to that and knows that there is only one God, Allah, the Lord Most High. I'm really a little bit upset because I live in a country and a nation where people have been praised and dignified and glorified, who disbelieve in the Lord so easily and say such dastardly things about the Lord Most High. We said all people who bring the story of the truth maintain one simple understanding of the Lord, that He is the light. And the only way to understand Him is to seek the light, but to know the story. If you don't understand the story and no one has told you the story, you can't get the light. But the Lord Most High, because He is merciful, has guaranteed that every single one of the sons of Adam must hear the story of truth in their own language. And you are being blessed, and I am a humble servant who has been given the glad tidings, oh my Father, of being able to tell the true story of mankind, of the reality, what we in Arabic term the haqq, the real truth, and to do so from beginning to end. Now, I'm going to tell you part of the story that doesn't make even more sense. Because I said every part of the story must get more amazing. I forced you just now to listen to my own personal story and listen to the parts of my father and my family and take a little bit of that personal journey with me. And I know it was really cumbersome for many of you, but in there were signs and there were reasons, and obviously the person who tells the story of the truth must disclose the stuff that I had to disclose to you. But in there were signs for you to see something. Now, as I'm saying this, I have told you that I am telling you the story of the truth of the light from the beginning to the end. But I didn't know the story before until that specific moment. And here is the thing that is going to freak you out. How did I actually know the story? How was I able to tell the tale from the beginning to the end? Why is it that I'm able to put this story to you? I told you that you have to seek the light, and I told you all you have to do to get the light is ask the Lord and have the faith. You don't need any supernatural or magical powers. But because the Lord Most High is amazing, here's something that you must understand. As I'm telling you the story of the truth, even though it is so weird and freaky and gone on for such a long time, it's talked about so many things that you are listening to it still, and you are starting to believe. You are starting to believe. Now, I will tell you the secret of the next part. Before I make this jump, I must tell you, and you'll understand what I mean by this, when I said I remembered the story. I remembered the story and was able to tell it. And let me tell you something. If you're listening to this story right now and you're starting to feel the light, I'm going to freak you out right now. I have just sworn by the Lord Most High that this auspicious occasion is being marked for all of the sons of Adam, that this story has never been told to you in the English language. But I swear to you by God, you've heard it before. That is the secret that no one has ever told you. That is the secret that no one has ever told you. And the reason why you remember the truth of the story that I'm telling you is because you've heard the story before. You've heard the story before. I promised you, any person who comes and tells the story of the truth, of the light, and for the first time in the English language, it is being done now and being marked by God, as we will explain, that the story is of the fundamentals. They tell you what happened in the beginning. And in the beginning, there was light. That is the Lord Most High. God created angels and God created Adam, but God created other races before us. Go back in the story and remember. Go back in the story and remember. And we said God taught Adam the words, and God taught Adam the names of all things, and Adam was breathed of the life, and we know that Adam was taken to the court and challenged, and the great war began. And Adam descended to the earth, not as a punishment, but as the plan and the destiny of the Lord Most High. And we said we must remember that final fundamental. All sons of Adam live, all sons of Adam die. We are raised, we are of the soul, we get judged, heaven and hell. But the final fundamental, we said we're getting to the end of the story, so focus on the final fundamental. That all of this has been one grand tale. And as I'm telling it, it all must fit perfectly. So we said that before a person ends the tale and makes the proof, and yes, I must give a warning. If a person comes telling the story of the truth, and it is the first time that that nation ever hears the story in their English language, then they must be given proof that is irrefutable, and they must be given a warning, unfortunately. And I know we've talked about a lot of dark and scary things, but I want to start telling you and get you to focus that this war has always been about searching for the light versus the darkness. All of the other petty human differences between race and gender and even color and language are now immaterial. If you know the story of truth, you know that it's beyond that. You know that to live in a land where there are people who dare say God is not great, I call you out. Oh, you who calls yourself Christopher, you ignoble creature who was made by the Lord, how dare you? How dare you? The Lord Most High is greater than all things. Don't you understand the story of truth? If I am claiming to be a person who bears the light, I should call out a heathen like a man named Christopher. I can challenge a man called Barack Hussein. I can challenge anyone. I'm telling you the truth. Not because there is anything great in me, but because there is the truth of the light. And so it is time for me to remind you of what you should already know. Remember the story. All of it is there. Before the person tells you the story and proves you all that I am proving you, he must tell you the whole story from the beginning to the end. And here is the point where all the popes and rabbis are wondering, is this man going to speak the truth? Because there is a secret that only those who have been given the light of the Lord know. And there is nothing great about me except I remember the story. And so here it is. You have heard the story before. You have heard the story before, and that is why you recognize my words as true. I told you every part of this tale must be so amazing and incredible. And then when it's told to you, it must be so grand is the glory of the light of the Lord, that when you hear it, you can't believe it, yet you know that you already knew it. A person who tells the story of the truth doesn't reveal any secret knowledge, but only reminds you of what you already know, but does it in a way that the Lord Most High has blessed. And it is in this fashion that I am giving it to you for the first time, from the beginning till the end. And so now we get to the point where all of the theologians who know the person who tells the story of the truth must be able to understand all of the misguided things of the darkness, but he must be able to prove one more greater fundamental. He must be able to tell you how his soul has understood the light and got the story as I reveal to you. And he must tell it to you the only way that a truth teller tells the tale, by recognizing where he is in the story. First and foremost, remember your roots. He must be able to acknowledge that of all of Allah's creation that I have ever met, the most noble are the ones who I call my mother and my father. Unless he admits that truth, he is not giving you the light, so the story isn't there for you to understand, connecting to your family and your people and your tribe, so that you remember the story that your fathers didn't know or had forgotten? As my father told me stories that never made sense, but only after the truth of the light are they now clear. That the tales of your roots, O black people, are there. That remember of all people, you who call yourselves African American, remember the worst thing that has happened to you is slavery, the worst mark on our story. But all of the men who have ever lived in this nation that are black, one man rose up to tell you, remember your roots. You used to be those who called themselves Muslim. And yet we have heathens who deny God and say the Lord Most High is not great. Oh yes, I am going to tell you the secrets of your very own soul. I told you my own story and how I received the light. So that when I tell you your own story, you will know that the light is the brightest thing. I must be able to tell you the truth of the story of your own soul, and it must be so amazing and grand and explain something greater than any mystic or soothsayer or fortune teller. I am not a medium or a futurist. I am giving you the word of the Lord and how the truth of your existence is, so that when you hear it, you know it. Because as the story of truth is told, the light can never be lost. From this moment on, let it be marked. From here on out, you are going to know the reality of your own soul, and you are going to be proved by the greatest of your scholars the reality of the story of the truth, not from me, but from you. And I will explain it for you, and then you are going to get the warning of what is to come. Now again, as a caveat, I must say, for you to understand the next part of the story, you must remember the fundamentals. There is only one God. La ilaha illa Allah. Allah, the word meaning the God. Do not be deceived by those who say Allah means anything else other than the one Lord. It is not a reference to the moon or a pagan or anything else, as we have always maintained in the story. The Lord Most High can only be described by anyone who has understood as the light, and all of us are seeking the light, and every prophet that we talked about, we referenced the light. And we said in this story, God created the angels, God created the jinns, God created Adam and prophets with books. You will live, you will die, you are breathed of the soul. You shall be raised, eternity of punishment and reward in heaven and hell, all by the plan of the Lord. And we said to understand the hugeness of the story, we must remember the important part where the Lord granted Abraham his prayer and said, "Oh Lord, I seek the light. I don't want to worship sun, stars, or moons, or anything else. From this point on, I want to know and worship the Lord Most High." And he was the prophet of the Lord, bearing the light. And he challenged the earth, from this point on, let only the Lord be worshipped at the Kaaba, the holy house in Mecca. And we went through the story of that, but he made a challenge on the earth and said, my Lord is the one who gives life and takes life. And we said he made another challenge. But we're not going to get there yet. We're coming to this section where now you want to know the truth of your own soul and why it is that you're able to understand the light. Let me take a little break, please, inshallah.